All right. What's going on, everybody? We are back in the shop today, and oh my god. What's going on, How many times am I gonna do this? What's going on, everybody? Back in the shop today, and I got an amazing package from FUELAB, a Fuel Safe Systems fuel cell. So we are replacing the old piece of junk that was in here that's been leaking, that I had on Driftweek1 with all those problems, and have just kind of been limping along this year. And now I finally got a legit fuel cell. This is from Fuel Safe, and it uses the FUELAB pump. So I just thought I would show you guys what it's gonna take to put this in my car and make sure that everything is good to go. The goal here today is to get this installed in the car as safely and quickly and, you know, best as possible in terms of the weight and stuff. So what I'm dealing with here is, you know, I removed the small cell that I had for my water system, my water tank, and there's the water pump. And you guys might have seen that on my last video. If you didn't, check it out, it's on the channel. And then from here, we have to figure out how to mount it. So obviously this cell is a much different shape than my old one. The old one is what they call a suitcase style. That allows you to kind of keep the weight in more of a specific spot, but it is a little taller. So your CG is a little higher. However, it allows your packaging to be easier. And what I'm kind of paying attention to here is, you know, this is my crumple zone right here. So anything behind this point, really behind this kind of vertical structural point right here, anything behind that, you know, I really want to be packaged and safe. But in front of this, or maybe behind, depending on how you're looking at it, this needs to be able to be sacrificed. So that's why I have the bash bar mounted like I do with these sacrificial aluminum bars. So they're designed to bend and absorb the energy and keep the actual bash bar in one piece, you know, holding the KBD bumper in one piece, and then, you know, I can just replace those two bars right there and everything should go back how it should, or how it was. Yeah, so now I have to figure out exactly how to get this in here. Xander is pulling the fill neck off because we're gonna need to clock that, and Sol is being a very good boy and helping. Aren't you, Sol? Yeah.
Got it.
He's really just like, I need the pets.
Eat it.
All right, cool. Oh, that's neat. It's got a little anti-slosh bladder thingy nice. On it.
With a cork gasket.
Yeah, sweet. You guys can see the foam there a little better. And I'm taking measurements in here, so you know, my other cell, as I mentioned, was in a very different position. I think I'm gonna have to move the water tank, unfortunately, so that just means more work, but nothing that I can't do, so we're gonna get right after it as soon as Sol lets us. All right, so we got a plan now. We've decided to go ahead and cut out the mount that I made for the water tank. Unfortunately, I gotta get rid of that thing. Okay, so we got it in here now. We've got it just kind of propped up with the jack and an old piece of a simulator that I had. So you can see I've got it pushed pretty far back. Now we're gonna check and make sure it's level. So definitely not level. So come down a bit with the jack, just nice and slow. Keep going. Right there. Perfect. Now left to right. Look at that.
Oh,
money. All right, cool. So that's where it lives. It's just very slightly offset to the left, just so I don't have to move that pump right there for my water sprayers. One less thing I have to mess with is always good. But yeah, it looks really good. It's very well behind this kind of breakaway zone like I was talking about. So that fits in there nice. It's a little higher than I would prefer, honestly, but that's just how it's going to be. So it's above the axle, or the subframe, which is where we want the weight anyway. So I'm very happy with that. So next step is to come up with some sort of cross brace. Alright, so we got this cross piece cut out. This is going to be the brace for the back half of the cell. It's going to hold the corner right here, so I'm just going all the way across from the frame rails like we talked about. I cut a little notch right here. Here, let me see, I'll show the audience. Little notch right here that'll be welded, and then it will be welded underneath here as well. You guys can see that I had it set all the way across so that it's got a nice strong support and it's not going to go anywhere. So next I'm just measuring from this cross member piece here, which is you know, definitely square. I made sure of that when I built it, to make sure that the cell is going to be square in here as well. So we're looking at right at 10 3/4. And on this side, if you get a read on it, 10 3/4. So it's money right there. So that's good. Now I can weld that in, and then I'll have to build another brace for the rear. So it'll be a similar setup. I'm going to go from the frame rail across with another piece of angle bracket, and then finally I'll, you know, connect them with some horizontal or vertical or whatever direction this is, ones to keep it in, and then we'll come up with some sort of strapping system to make sure if there's a rollover or anything like that, no issues. So you can see that it's really annoying having to pull the cell in and out, in and out, in and out while you're fabbing it up. So if you guys are paying a fabricator and, you know, it costs several $100s to mount it or $1,000 to mount it, now you kind of see why. So anyway, next step is going to be to go ahead and get this FUELAB pump mounted up, as well as the fuel neck, so we kind of have an idea of where we want to clock this in order to make it easy to get to my fill neck. And then, you know, I just want to put the pump in, so I want to go ahead and get this buttoned up so that I don't have to worry anymore about stuff getting in here. So now Xander has got this piece of tubing. He's spiral cut, nice and accurate there. It's going to protect the fire system nozzle, or hose rather, from rubbing on the edge of the fuel cell. So we're gonna do a little bit of the right stuff here. This is the best stuff ever. You guys have heard me talk about this on my channel. I'm not sponsored by Permatex at all. This is just literally the best product ever. So I'll put a little bit of that in here. That's just gonna make sure that it doesn't slip around and slide anywhere. And then we'll use a couple zip ties just to make sure it's completely held in. You're gonna get sticky.
Yeah.
Sorry. There you go, look at that. Look at that technique. Very nice.
Clean fingies.
Oh, look at that. Even better. So yeah, we'll throw some zip ties on it, and then we'll make sure before the glue dries, we're gonna put the cell back in and make sure that it's in the right spot to make sure that wasn't a waste of time. And that's actually the next step. I guess I should explain what I'm doing. I'm trying to get shit done. I'm trying not to focus too much on filming because it slows me down so much. So I'm just kind of talk a little bit and then just do my thing. If y'all like watching it that way, great. I'm experimenting now with the channel. So it's just late night. I got shit to do. Driftweek's coming up quick, so here we are fixing things. I've finished, you know, putting the fuel safe cell in. Not finished, I shouldn't say. I'm about 90% there. But I'm kind of looking at the welds that I've got here for some of the you know, bit of the rear end, and I don't like it. Straight up, it looks ugly, and I have a TIG welder and I know how to TIG, so I'm gonna clean it up. So many little details before paint. I'm now going in and making sure the chassis is absolutely sealed and ready to go, you know, preventing any moisture, water, smoke, anything from getting in the cabin, especially for the long Driftweek road trip. And so you can see that I've got all the welding done now, all the fabrication done. And so I'm going through the chassis and just holding up a flashlight and making sure that, you know, anywhere that seems like there has a seam up here, anywhere there is, doesn't have any actual, you know, not watertight seal. So basically you just keep doing that all the way around, and I'm not going to film the whole part, but you know, I've got a bunch of little seams and everything here to get, and I just want to make sure it's 100% sealed up as best as I possibly can on this rattly old drift car.